Hey, Sienna here. Hopefully having an amazing day. I'm on the way to the Dollar General to get a few things. I was planning on going live, but for some reason I don't have internet. And so I was going to go live on TikTok on my other channel, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and talk to the camera while I drive. I'm going to be pulling up to the road in a minute. And I'm going to stop because I'm off the ranch and I don't want to be recording while I'm driving on the main highway. So, boy, it's like raining and raining and raining. We've had like not flash flood, but we've had winter storm warnings, and it's been more towards like concern for snow. And so far it's kind of been drizzling, but as I'm going out on the property where I've just seen drizzle, kind of like Seattle drizzle for the last little while, it's flooding. We're going to get some flooding. We might, hopefully it'll snow. Hopefully we'll get some snow. And that will stop the flooding, at least for the moment. So today I want to talk about transparency. And I'm going to post this on both my, I'm going to be posting this on my CN Cherie channel and my other channel, my CN Livingston channel. And because it's been a moment since I've actually gone live and focused on my other business. I've been focusing on sharing my story about my mom, taking care of my parents, taking care of my mom specifically, who has dementia. And I think it's really important to share and be transparent for the most part. And in my other channel, it's not like I haven't been transparent, but I've been overwhelmed with emotions, overwhelmed with the things that I have to do day to day to take care of my mom, to take care of the ranch, to make sure that my dad is okay, to work on the business, to clean. And it's just been about 3 months of trying to get my shit together and trying to get back into the routine of what it looks like when you're a Gen Xer and you're taking care of your parents. You're reversing that role. Even when I was here before, living on the ranch, even 8-9 months ago, the old role was still in place. My parents still treated me like a child in some ways. I was living with them because I was managing the business, taking care of their business, helping them out. And back at the beginning of 2024, I made the decision that I wanted to move because it just wasn't working out. I wasn't getting the results I wanted in any parts of my life. I wasn't healing from my hip injury. I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. I didn't have a car, so I had to rely on other people to get to my appointments. I was living in a really nice house. We live in a very, very nice house on a very beautiful property, but life wasn't going, and it was time for me. And it was time for me to make an exit. And so one of the bravest things I thought at the time was picking up my stuff, purging a lot of my stuff, only keeping the things that were necessary, packing my suitcases, and making the move to Florida. And that was a really brave thing for me. And even though I was only there for a few months, 3-4 months or something like that, it was a lifetime experience. It was an amazing experience, amazing growth, amazing moving forward in my ability to dance and to walk and release all the trauma, to build my business, to build both my funnel business. A lot of you know that I build funnels. I've been doing internet marketing stuff for about 20 years, web design, funnel consulting, and then some coaching, and then also doing my legacy business. So during the time that I was in Florida, I had the time to just focus on me. I didn't have to really focus on anybody else, except for my friendships that I was creating. And it was wonderful. I missed the ranch, and I missed a couple of the dogs, and I had some goals, and I knew in the back of my mind that I would have to return back to California and pick up some pieces, to fix some pieces, to put some pieces together, because I knew in the back of my mind, even though I was in somewhat of denial and I just didn't know all the facts, I knew there was problems. I knew there were problems with the business, and I knew there were problems with my mom. One problem was on my birthday weekend last year, I decided to stay the weekend in Medford, Oregon. Stayed in a hotel. Originally, I was only going to be there for the night, and then I said, you know what, I want to stay here and just pamper myself. And I had an amazing weekend. Definitely had an amazing weekend. But in that, my mom had to take our visitor home, entertain him, and later on I found out that even though I'd given her instructions and him instructions on going to the grocery store and getting some dinner, she grabbed a frozen pizza out of the oven and served him frozen pizza. She had forgot how to turn on the oven. She was forgetting how to drive. She was getting in an accident. She was doing all kinds of weird things that were definitely like red flags. Her toxic, combative behavior before I left. I couldn't stand to be in another toxic, dysfunctional situation where my boundaries weren't being respected. I was not being respected. And so I made the bold choice and moved clear across the country and stayed in Florida. And I loved it there. Absolutely loved Florida. Still do. And in those few months, I knew in the back of my head that, and I also heard a voice who I would say was God saying, I'm going to open this opportunity for you to go to Florida, but this is probably going to be the last time you see your mom. And I knew that what he was saying, what that voice was saying in me, and what I was hearing, it wasn't like this is the last time you're going to see your mom because she's going to die. It was more like this is going to be the last time you see your mom because she's losing her mind to dementia. She's forgetting things. She's forgetting things that are important to her. She's forgetting relationships that are important to her. She's forgetting how to talk to me respectfully. She's talking to me in a way that's verbally abusive, threatening to hit me, threatening to kick me out, threatening to, not just threats. And I wasn't comfortable with it. I've been in several toxic relationships with men who have been bipolar, have been alcoholics, who have been narcissistic, and putting their bullshit on me. And definitely there was she was putting her bullshit on me, and I was to the point of, I had learned how to respect myself so much that I'm like, I understand that this might be the last time I experience my mom in this way, but I don't want to experience my mom in this way. We were having some good times, and there were moments when it was beautiful, but most of the time it was toxic and dysfunctional. And the only way I knew how to add it up was, this is a dysfunctional, toxic, abusive relationship, and I need to get out. So in the few months that I was gone in Florida, my mom was hospitalized a couple times. The first time, I think it was because she fell. I'm not totally sure on the circumstances of that. And the second time, she got into a situation where she was hallucinating that my dad was chasing her, and she got stuck under the fence, and she ended up having to go to the hospital for like a 72-hour hold to evaluate her. And, you know, during this time, you know, in the summertime, there was evacuations because of the wildfires, and they had to like leave the house for 10 days. And my cousin was seeing like all this weird stuff. You know, I tried to call her a couple times. I tried to call her and, you know, text her. And, you know, the first time I talked to her, she was really hateful and really mean. The second time I tried to talk to her, she didn't know how to use the phone. The third time I talked to her, she was really lovable and really missed me. And so through these conversations with her and my stepdad, and also my cousin, I decided that it was my time to come home. You know, we talked about coming home for a short time just to get some things together while she was in the hospital and help her to come home. We didn't really know what it was going to look like. You know, we talked about me living in the Airstream so that I'd have my own place. We talked about having my own room back. And, you know, I wanted to have boundaries. I wanted to either continue to be able to give her the support that she needed, and also continue to live my laptop lifestyle, which hasn't been happening. So coming home, you know, the plan was that I was either going to get paid as her caregiver, or I was going to be able to have my own place in the Airstream, build my own yard. You know, that seemed kind of exciting, and just so that I have my own space. But the truth of the matter is, when I came home, I became the parent, or like the parent, with overwhelming responsibilities of cleaning the things that she had been hoarding for months, cleaning and getting rid of the mice that had accumulated in the house because of all the hoarding. And you know, it's not like our house is dirty. We have like a maid that comes in and cleans, and everybody kind of like cleans, but there was a lot of things that were being neglected. And for 5 days while my mom was in the hospital, I just cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, getting rid of the extra stuff, making it really simple to live. And that's kind of been my life for the last few months. You know, at first I was able to hire a handyman to come in and fix some of the things that were broken, because my dad is no longer able to see really well, and he can't get down. He's up there in age too, so he has health issues himself. And then hiring extra help to clean the carpets and stuff from our housekeeper. And then eventually we actually hired a caregiver that's coming in, you know, starting at 4 hours on Tuesdays to give me some time off. And then now she's also coming in on Thursdays. So now I have a total of 8 hours off a week. And when you're a caregiver and you're taking care of, whether it be a patient, whether it be your mom, your dad, a parent, grandparents, whatever, and they need 24-hour care 7 days a week, it's not like you are always, you know, working. It's, you have to be available. So when I was in Florida and I didn't have any cares in the world, I was taking appointments, I was meeting people on Zoom, I was getting new clients, I was meeting people for my podcast. There was a lot of things going on. And I was productive and I was building my business. But as I stepped into this caregiver position, which at this time, I'm actually not getting paid for it. I'm just helping my mom and, you know, putting things back together. The ranch and the estate and her health care, her routine, my routine. And now that I have 4 hours of independence twice a week, I can start like thinking about building my business again and taking steps that are for me, for my self-care. Because when you're a caregiver and you're like watching your parent 24/7, you know, sometimes I'm just sitting in my room watching TV with my dog. I got a new dog. You know, writing in my journal, doing a meditation, even sleeping. But I'm sleeping sound and knock, knock, knock. Your mom's, you know, rummaging around the house. She's in the refrigerator. You know, there's a huge, you know, some huge fears that we have. You know, her lighting the stove, her setting the house on fire, and, you know, putting things down the toilet. She's clogged up the toilet a couple times. Just letting out dogs. She's actually let out dogs where there's been dog fights, you know, just constantly having to have an ear open or an eye open to make sure that she's safe, the dogs are safe, I'm safe, and my dad's safe. And that's been my life in the last 3-4 months since I got here. I flew here to California on November 5th, and which was voting day. And as I got here, I went to the hospital, visited my mom, checked in with her. She was so excited to see me. She actually did recognize me, which was amazing, because nowadays sometimes she doesn't recognize me. I call her mom and she'll be like, "Why are you calling me mom?" I don't get it. I don't like it when you call me mom. And I try to tell her that I call you mom because you're my mom. I'm your daughter. And she's just like, no, that's not how it is. And even with her husband, he's some random nice guy that she sees every once in a while. He's kind of like a stranger. But then there's other times when she recognizes me as her daughter, or she recognizes her husband. And it's kind of a little bit for me walking on eggshells, because I don't know where she's at. And I don't know the questions to ask her to figure out where her reality is. And it's every day is a learning process. But as I'm getting more time and more of a routine, I am going to start, you know, coming back on TikTok on this channel. I'm building a social media following on another TikTok channel, which is called Cian Cherie, and building a new TikTok where I'm actually sharing about the journey when it comes to helping my mom with her dementia and all the craziness. You know, I'm also sharing about building business, but, you know, I'm going to start coming live on my TikTok channel. I'll probably come live on Facebook. I might not talk about my mom so much, but I'm going to start talking again about business and coaching and relationships, God, personal development, just the things that light me up, and also about the dogs, because I am with the dogs again. And I have a new one, Zulu, who is living with me. She is the daughter of Spirit, and she's a total blessing. Anyways, make it a great day. God bless.